Cheers, and welcome to Hopefully Here. I am Hope, and I am so very stoked to have you here. Let us all pause and take the first sip of coffee of the day. Is there anything better than a good cup of coffee first thing in the morning? I mean, yes, probably there are, but subjectively, it's one of my favorite parts of the day. We are going to talk about Q1 reading stuff because I'm slumping so hard right now. I can't even describe how much I don't want to read anything on my shelves. So part of this is going to be a book breakup. Let's see if I can do a little bit. This shelf here is my unread physical TBR, and this shelf here is my library stuff. And we are going to be clearing some of this out because as much as I look at the books and I read what they're about and I think I want to read that, I don't want to read any of it right now and I don't want to look at it anymore. Fortunately with the library, I can take it back and then I can get it out again. So it's not like I'm getting rid of it forever. And in terms of my physical, I can't get my arm back far enough. In terms of my physical TBR, I'm not going to be unhauling a ton of them, but I am going to go through them and see if there are any I can get rid of, because I look at my bookcase right now, and in terms of the books that are unread, I am so uninspired, and it's a very frustrating place to be because reading is my happy spot. It's where I go to when I need a break from the world and life, and I just need to calm myself down and have a good time, and I'm not having that right now, except I am slowly getting my way through Valor. It's taking me longer than it normally would, but I am really enjoying this book. So fortunately, this one is saving me from full reading slump, but my goodness me, I haven't had problems reading like this in a very long time. Before we break up with some books, let's talk about stats. I started off the year pretty strong because of a couple of book challenges, and I'm going to get into explaining. Let's just talk about this. I've read 63 books so far this year. That is just over 21,000 pages. And I'm reading on an average of about 4 days per book. Normally I have 2 books or so going at a time. I'll have a physical book and I will also have an ebook going because going to work and stuff, I'll take one on my phone. If I'm waiting for appointments, I'll have a book on my phone. So books I can be done them either really quickly or they take a while because I'm splitting my attention between 2. But I do typically read, it's been all fiction. I've read very, very little nonfiction this year. Most of my books are between 300 and 499 pages. I don't do audio very often unless it's the occasional nonfiction book, but I have done almost no audiobooks so far this year. And my main genres are, top 2 are contemporary and literary. Now the thing with Storygraph is a book will be split between different genres. It's not just one specific genre that it'll be put in. So contemporary and literary are my 2 top. And then romance, which is kind of funny, and fantasy are my next 2. I have read some good books this year. I would say the 2 standouts for me are the ones that I was anticipating this year, and that is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins and The Dark Mirror by Samantha Shannon. Those books did not disappoint. I am very thankful to have had them. I think that they kept me afloat because they came at the right time, and I thoroughly enjoyed every second of reading those. Now let's get into where the problem is going. I challenged myself to read a favorite book from every booktuber I follow this year, and that went pretty well. Nothing was so terrible that it put me into a slump, but I think because so much of it dictated what I was reading, as much as I tried to allow myself to choose what I'm reading because I am a mood reader, a lot of it was dictated to me. And so for basically the first 2 months of the year, I was reading books on a much more selective list than I typically would. And then the International Booker was announced and the Women's Prize in Fiction was announced. And those are 2 prizes that I typically try to keep up with. I have read almost nothing off of either of those lists this year. I have some on my library shelf, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to read any of them. I think that a lot of them sound interesting, and my plan was, when I was struggling with the Women's Prize, I thought, okay, I'll wait until the shortlist is announced. And then I will watch vlogs on people reading the books and see how people are feeling about them. And the thing that I'm discovering is that a lot of them have very differing opinions. People love and hate all of the books. There doesn't seem to be one book that is creating a ton of consensus, except for so far, I think, The Safekeep. But that's one that I've already read. And so there's nobody really pushing me to pick up any of these books. And I don't want to read any of them. Is the problem. I read The Dream Hotel by Layla Lalami and really enjoyed that one, actually. I think if you are an anxious person, maybe not the right book for you, but I thoroughly enjoyed that one. And I read Crooked Seeds by Karen Jennings because I was able to get it immediately, and I hated it. I thought it was a terrible book. I didn't like the story. I didn't like the character. I didn't like the writing. I don't know why I finished it. I think because I was planning to do content around the Women's Prize, I pushed myself through it, and I should not have done that. So this is where we're at. We are at a spot where I look at my shelves. I don't want to read them. I don't want to read the books that I thought I would want to read, and I am struggling so hard to get out of this. So let's break up with some books. I'm going to tell you the books that are on this bottom shelf, and we're going to send them back to the library, and then I'm going to go through my physical TBR and decide if there's any that I want to get rid of. But first, let's do the library because those ones are easy. Oh, okay. We have Hunchback by Sao Ichikawa, and this has been nominated for the International Booker. Now, this is very, very tiny, and it has, in fact, received, I believe, fairly good acclaim. People seem to like this one. The shortlist for the International Booker is being announced tomorrow. I might keep the couple I have from the International Booker just on my shelves and see if I'm motivated at all by the shortlist, but I'm just about a young woman in a care home seeking autonomy and the full possibilities of her life. Like, these are books that I feel I should be really drawn to, and I'm not drawn to anything right now, and it's driving me crazy. We have Nesting by Roshan O'Donnell, again, a book that was very much on the People's Predictions list for the Women's Prize, and then it was longlisted. I don't think Nesting is on the short list, actually, but is one that sounded like a book I would really want to read. I enjoy literary fiction a lot. It is my favorite genre. I don't know what to tell you. Quarter Life by Devika Ridge. This has been sitting on my shelves. I think I've renewed it from the library 3 times now, and I haven't reached for it, haven't picked it up again, because I loved My Friends. I don't know if you can see it. My Friends by Hisham Matar. I loved that book last year so much, and I kind of thought like this one was sort of giving that kind of vibe with this, so I actually really, really want to read it. I don't want to read it now. This book is going back. It's Eurotrash by Christian Kratch. And I didn't realize this cover grosses me right out. I don't even want to look at it. So that's going back to the library. The book might be the best thing ever. Something about that cover. I can't do it. Tell Me Everything by Elizabeth Strout has been shortlisted. Elizabeth Strout is not an author that interests me. And again, I've heard varying things about this book and the fact that it is kind of part of a world. I guess it can stand on its own really well, but it is technically part of kind of this overarching storyline that she covers. I'm not ready to put myself into that situation, so it's going back. The Persians by Sanam Malaujdi. I actually did attempt to read this one. It didn't speak to me. It has been shortlisted for the Women's Prize in Fiction, but I don't want to go back to it. Good Girl by Aria Aber is a book that has been shortlisted and has actually received, a lot of people really liked it. I think I've seen a couple that didn't love this one, but it isn't a topic that interests me. It's about a girl in Berlin, and she's in the techno scene or something, I think, which is kind of like the rave scene, Berlin's legendary nightlife. And it's, I think, got an older male kind of controlling relationship. I read Kairos last year and absolutely loved it. I think I would be comparing it to that the whole time, and because the other subplot, I guess, of nightlife is part of it, I'm not drawn to it. And then Fundamentally by Nusaba Yunus. I actually did get about halfway through this book. and then realized where I was at in my reading, and I was just forcing myself to read this and I was not enjoying it, so I put it down and I'm not going to pick it back up, even though I believe it has also been shortlisted for the Women's Prize. So there you go. There's a ton of books that I was really excited about getting and being able to take out from the library, and was super stoked to be able to read these books, and now I don't want to read any of them. So I do have 2 books that I will be unhauling or breaking up with. Again, we're going book breakup here, from my personal shelves. One is The Count of Monte Cristo. Look, this book has been on a journey with me for so long, and I'm tired of looking at it because I'm not going to pick it up and finish it. I did not enjoy how far I got halfway through this book, did not have a good time, and I don't want to look at it anymore. It takes up so much space on my shelves, so we're going to get rid of it. Last month, I have a little jar that has all my physical books in it, and the book that came out that I was going to read was The Passage by Justin Cronin. This was a book that I was going into with some trepidation anyways, because I think technically it's shelved under horror, which, if you've been here for any length of time, is not my preferred genre, but I know that it's very literary, like not literary, but thriller-esque as well. So I went into it thinking I would be okay. And in terms of the storyline, I was fine, and the writing is good. But I got to a certain point and it became a little, I'm gonna sneeze. But we got to a certain point and I could tell the body horror was picking up, and even if a lot of people would read this and not consider it body horror, I do. I get so queasy when we start talking about the body and things, and I got to a certain scene and I couldn't read it anymore. I just thought there's absolutely no way. If that's not even a part of like the horror scenes, and that's the description I'm getting, I can't read this book. So it is going to get unhauled. I'm either going to do Little Free Library or Friends of the Library. This is just feeling, I'm being very torn right now. Like, I feel good about getting them off my shelf, but also a part of me is like, but you're going to want to read them. So why are you getting rid of them? I'm so confused with my reading right now. I can't even really describe it. So if you have ever gone through this, please let me know when you're looking at a book and you think, that sounds interesting, but I have absolutely no desire to read it right now. Like, what do? I don't even know how to get myself out of this. I'm very thankful for Valor right now because at least it's keeping me reading, but I am struggling so hard right now. Okay, so in terms of my physical TBR, I think I'm gonna just keep them. I think it's a very small shelf. I have 11 books on my shelf that I have not yet read, and I think that should be manageable. I think I can ignore them for now, or I can draw one out of the hat, out of my mug, and have it be chosen for me, but I don't think I want to get rid of any, because what if I get in the mood for them again? You know what I mean? And like, I've spent money on these, not very much. They're all from Friends of the Library, so like $1, most of them. But it's still time and money that I put into putting these books onto my shelves. And so I think for now, I am in fact going to leave my physical TBR books. But the question now is, what's next? When I go drop all these books off at the library, I might even have books on hold at the library. Like, give me a second. Also, everybody, have another sip of your coffee because she's been rambling, my goodness. Okay, so on Libby right now, I have out a leopard skin hat, which is part of the International Booker long list. I have The Jackal's Mistress, which I just picked up because it was on a list of like librarians recommend, and I was doing anything I can to find something to read. I have a book called EXE by Robin Jeffrey, and I have a book called The Night Swim by Megan Golden. And these are all books that I'm just grasping at straws here to find something that I want to read. We'll see if they stick around. Fortunately, ebooks are super easy to get in and out of the library. But in terms of books that I might have on hold or coming to me, my library is doing this really cute thing right now called the Mug Hunt. And I guess there are little, I don't know, tokens hiding around the library, and you take them in and you get a free mug from the library. And I think that's really cute. Okay, here we go. the books I have on hold right now are Four Ruined Realms, which is the sequel to Five Something Blades by May Corland. And I honestly don't know if I even want... I didn't love the first book, so I actually don't know if I need to continue in this series, I'll be honest. Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney, a thriller. I'm going to keep this one on my list because I'm hoping maybe something like a thriller, super easy, quick read, can help me out here. How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin, another thriller, I'll keep it on. Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConney. I have seen really good reviews about this book. I haven't loved the other book I read by this author, but I want to give it a chance because people seem to really like it. Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall, I want to keep. And then I am on hold for Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. We'll see. I don't know what I'm doing, but this is the quarter so far for me. These are the books I'm breaking up with, and I'm hoping that there will be a turnaround in the next week or so, because my goodness, I need it. If you have any tips or tricks, please let me know. If you have a book that when you were slumping, like the book that got you out of it, let me know that too. I am taking any and all recommendations right now because I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't want to be here. And with that, I will say goodbye and see you in the next one. Bye.